right, the Reds, Friday's talking Reds. No football this weekend from the Reds, which is shit, isn't it? Got to wait for ages because of this crap international football. But if you fancy a non-league game, I haven't had a look at everyone who's playing, but one that did catch my eye is Marina playing Scarborough in the FA Cup. So maybe nip down there if you're round and about. It's a good place to go and watch a bit of footy. It's a nice pint. I might do it myself.
You normally go, don't you?
Yeah, I haven't been this season actually. They're currently looking for a new manager.
Fancy it, do you?
So it's fucking all going off like. Because I don't know anyone who plays in the league or how good they are.
Could be a bit of an issue.
Could be a little bit of an issue, couldn't it? But as ever on the Anfield app, we're going to find plenty of things to talk about. There are loads of podcasts, there are loads of videos, there's loads going on, and there is this Talking Reds. I'm going to start today's one with Ian Ryan. You know who Ian is, and you know who I am, Gareth Roberts. Hiya. You all right? How's it going? You all right? Yeah. Okay, so anyway, so. John Pearman, who's the editor of Red All Over the Land, a long-standing Liverpool fanzine, and now the only printed fanzine left that's for sale outside Anfield. He got in touch, he dropped me a little message, like John, we exchanged messages here and there, and he was just saying if you could give us a little plug, because as I say, it's still going, he's still selling it. That's it. That is the fanzine. Hopefully you can see that on the screen there. And yeah, it's a good little read. It's a good little thing to get at the match. Still only £2, it says on the front there. And no, it's not the programme. And you probably heard them if you're walking around Anfield. Maybe you just hear someone saying, Reds all over the land, Liverpool fanzine. Well, that's them. So go and buy one, keep them going. I'm made up that John's still got it going. It's graft now to keep a printed fanzine going because obviously everything's gone digital. You've got the likes of the Anfield app. But, you know, in general, people are starting to move away from print. It's harder and harder to do this. What I thought I'd do as well is just sort of bring... I've got a huge collection of both programmes and fanzines, much to the annoyance of my Anfield app colleagues. It's filling up our office, basically. So I nipped downstairs before, anyway, just to find some of the classics. So, of course, it all sort of started with The End, Peter Hooton et al. And that's the book of every end that ever was there. Favourite of mine was the ins and the outs before every issue. It's a laugh, it's scouse.
Looks weighty. There's a lot in there,
There's a lot in there, but it's a good read and it's a good little part of history, and it started it all, didn't it, really? And, you know, you got the likes of, what's the other one? When Saturday Comes is still going, but that's obviously more of a national fanzine. But in terms of Liverpool ones, when Ian came in, this was the one that took your attention, wasn't it?
Yeah, loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Through the Wind and the Rain. This particular issue that we're on here is from Winter 1990-91, issue 7. I remember buying all these cracking stuff. Stephen Kelly was the editor. And yeah, I love this. And this got me going on the idea of sort of fan media, if you like. I remember sort of in school as well, I produced my own mini fanzine, which are called Any Spurs. Not Spurs, Tottenham Hotspur. I made it as part of like an English project. I got good marks, but I've still got it somewhere. I think I got B+ for it. So, you know, nice one, Mr. Murray. If you're watching for the B+ there, Bowden Comprehensive English teacher. But what else have we got? That was a really good fanzine.
That was a great fanzine, wasn't it? That was the one where, for me, if I was going to a match, I'd be like, that's me, I'll follow straight away. Get Through the Wind and Rain. That's the one you want. That's the one you want. And I think everyone, certainly at that time, kind of going to game, late 80s, early 90s, people were all over that. So it's a shame, Robbo, isn't it? The way it's good in many ways, the way it's moved on, and obviously, you know, fan media, Anfield rap and all that, etc. But this is a dying breed now, isn't it? It is a little bit of a shame. You know, people like around about our age, you look back and you think, well, this is how you consumed your football experience. And
pre-internet.
It's mad now. I mean, I remember like kind of growing up, you'd always buy a newspaper. Going into work, you'd always buy a newspaper, wouldn't you? But who buys newspapers now? It's just all consumed through kind of the internet and through Twitter, etc. But kind of all our yesteryears. But it is a shame the way it's moved on when you see so many great fanzines like this where now. It's just kind of...
I mean, there's still some kicking about. Obviously, the one I mentioned, John's one, which I'd urge you to buy at the match. Another little plug for you there, John. But, you know, there's some... I've always liked sort of reading fanzines of other clubs as well. Obviously, we're mates with Steve Armstrong, who's involved with the United We Stand fanzine. There's a good one up in Sunderland as well, which I used to buy up until recently, really, and then just finding the time to read it meant that I knocked it off. It was getting delivered for about 2 years to the wrong address on our road, which was really annoying the woman. She was like, can you not just change that number?
Any chance, lad?
And like, she had to come over with it every month and just be like that. You still haven't changed that address there, lad.
You absolute pest.
Sorry, girl. But some of the other Liverpool ones that older watchers might remember, one there, When Sunday Comes, that's one. There was Red All Over the Land in sort of a different style there. That's an R one there. What else was there as well? There was the Cop magazine, which is more a Trinity Mirror produced one. Mo's enjoyed that. Chris McLaughlin was involved in that and did a great job. Trinity pulled the plug on that a while back, which was a little bit of a shame. What else have we got? When Sunday Comes, and we've got Liverpool Way. I'm building up to the big one. The big one is, you got Boss Mag, of course, which was like very scouse, very funny. I reckon a lot of the jokes went over people's heads, but that was good. And now, you know, the lads don't do the printed fanzine anymore, which is a bit of a shame, but they do the Boss Nights now, which are, as they say, Boss. But this was the best one, wasn't it, mate?
Where's your one, lad? Come on. That's what we're all waiting for.
Hey, that was the one I did. Well read. And I enjoyed doing it, I enjoyed putting it together, but I can tell you, it was graft. So you were staying up, or I was staying up until 3 in the morning and things like that to get it done. It got to the point where it was only like me and one other lad writing it as well, and it was like, we'd ring each other the week it was due out and go, should I write this fanzine then, lad? And like I've been putting on Twitter going, anyone want to write on it? And everyone would be like, nah.
Nah, lad, no, I don't.
Until we'd just knock it out. Yeah. It just became a bit of graft, but do you know what? I was having a bit of a look before, and I was like, you know, it's quite nice. It's quite a nice looking fanzine. I feel like we did an all right job, things like that. Do you know what I mean? Looks all right, doesn't it? But anyway, fanzine chat. So yeah, all that was to plug John's fanzine, Red All Over the Land. Get that when you're at the match. Keep it going. He had a little bit of an issue recently with the club where there was, I think it was a bit of a misunderstanding, but there was some kind of issue over him selling in and around the ground, but it's been resolved now. Okay. I think Tony Barrett, Peter Moore, those type of people may have stepped in. Don't know all the ins and outs.
I saw something on that, yeah.
But you know, it seems common sense has prevailed, and that he'll continue to be allowed to sell that around the ground, which is fantastic stuff. That's what we want. Okay, on the Reds then, Fabinho. Still hasn't had a game for the Reds. No. Hasn't been involved in 3 of the 4 matchday squads as well. Some people have seen are starting to get worried that perhaps he's shit. And we've blew 40 million on him. I'm not. No. I'm all right with it. I wrote my Unibet column this week on this very issue, so I'm quite glad he spoke out. There's some quotes from him in the press today. He says, my start has been good adaptation. The pre-season was very good. We had 9 friendlies and I played 9. It was good to play against the English teams to see what the rhythm, the intensity and the physique is like. The way the team played, I got it right. The more experienced players helped me, the technical team as well. Me and my wife like the city. We already have a home. Roberto Firmino is a great guy. His family have been good support to me, and Alisson. He says, it's all been fine. Having Brazilians in the team helps. Now it's really time to make the debut. I'm fine, I'm training well, and I'm prepared. Are you worried about him then? And what did you think of him pre-season? What did you know of him before at Monaco and stuff?
I don't think there's a worry, certainly not from my perspective. I think what you're seeing here is what Klopp likes to do with footballers, which is ensure that they are going to fit into his way of playing, his way of thinking, and there's no rush, Robbo, when you see the options that we've got in midfield. Yes, you could maybe say it'd be nice to maybe have Oxlade-Chamberlain fit. Of course it would, because he's a great player and he had a really good start to his Liverpool career. But at the minute, I think the manager wants to ease him in, and you've seen him do it with Andy Robbo, you've seen him do it with Chamberlain, in fact, where he wants certain things from his footballers, and I think he's all right with being patient and easing them in. And I think if you want to look at a comparison, you look at someone like Fred at United, and Mourinho's lashed him in.
And the lad, he's called Fred.
And it's mad, isn't it? It's mad. Change your name, lad. No, but he's thrown him in there early doors to the point where he's now dropped them. Because it's one of those kind of sink or swim moments, isn't it, I guess, where, you know, new player to the league, there's every chance you're going to find it difficult to adapt straight away, and that's what's happened in the case of Fred, where it all looks a little bit too fast for him. He's not getting time on the ball that he's probably been used to. He's not able to kind of pick that pass because he's getting rushed, he's getting pressurised. And I think the manager just thinks, well, let's work with Fabinho on the training pitch. Let's ensure he understands his role when he comes into the team. He knows the players around him. He knows what they're going to expect from him, what he expects from them. So I think to have a £43 million footballer, I think that's what the fee eventually rises to, on our bench or not getting in our squad, that's a place where you want to be as a football team. If you're going to be successful, if you're going to be challenging for honours, if you can say, well, we've got belters that can't even get in the squad, that's a good place to be. I think what happens with fans, and I'm guilty of it myself, when you sign a new player, you just want to see them.
Oh, yeah.
You want to see them in the kit, you want to see them playing, you want to see what they're all about, you've read about them, you want to see how they're going to maybe influence the team, why the manager's gone out and paid that kind of money. You're desperate for all that. So there's an impatience, isn't there, from us as fans to see what this player looks like on the pitch for Liverpool. And
but I mean, he said himself that, you know, at Monaco, he played in a 2. At Liverpool, he's going to play in a 3 when he does get a go. The likelihood is as well that he gets a go after this international break. He's hinting at it there. All of a sudden, there's a big switch, isn't he, from it being 1 game a week to sort of 1 game every 3-4 days. And you know, quite a hectic schedule. Big games, you know, Chelsea in the League Cup, you know, Paris in the Champions League, Tottenham in the league, Chelsea in the league, you know, and across that you can't see Klopp continuing to do what he's done so far, which is pretty much play the same team.
No, and I think the interesting one will be what he does for Tottenham, because you know, we spoke about it on the second look. I think if you look at the midfield against Leicester, it didn't perform great, you know what I mean? I think Gini's had a really good start to the season, but he struggled in that game. You know, Milner was probably the best of the 3, but you could argue it wasn't his greatest game he's had so far this season. Henderson had a really decent first half, but my God, he fell off a cliff second half, and it was probably the right decision to take him off. So there's questions there for the manager about what he does for that Spurs game, but would it be too big a shout to suddenly throw Fabinho in, having not played him into that match? That's one for the manager to answer.
The mad thing is as well, he's likely to play for Brazil, and what I've been reading is he likes to play right back.
He is. Well, I think when we signed him, we knew he was a player who could play in a variety of positions, and I think when he came on my radar first for Monaco was when he played against City. Yeah. In the Champions League.
Knocked them out, didn't he?
And he knocked them out on away goals, I think it was, if I remember rightly. And he had 2 good games in those matches. He wasn't just being that defensive midfielder. Actually,
he won and scored a penalty.
Yeah, he actually gets involved in contributing goals, and he gets assists as well in that game. So I think his passing through the lines was what really struck me that night. The ability to get hold of the ball and punch really good passes into forward players, and they go from there. So you're not just getting that player, I think he's going to offer the screen, if you like. There's more to his game than that. But I think it all just comes back to the fact that the manager wants him to learn what it means to play for this football club, what it means to play for a Jurgen Klopp side, because you know, the Chamberlain case is a striking one where, you know, I think he's referenced it when he comes in from Arsenal. And bear in mind, he's been playing for, you know, a team that, they're not mugs, and we'll poke fun at Arsenal, but they're a top side in the English league. He's playing for a manager in Arsene Wenger who's been there, seen it and done it. But he's like, well, this is totally different. Playing for Jurgen Klopp is just night and day compared to playing for Arsenal, playing under Arsene Wenger. So,
well, your midfielders are running sort of 12 and 13
We ask so much of them, Robbo. We ask, from our midfield 3, we ask so much from them to go and perform to the heights that the manager expects, and then the things he wants them to do on the football pitch. So, not easy. So I think it's just a case of let's ease him in. But I think the interesting one is, as I touched on there, what does he do around the Spurs game? Because that's a huge football match. You know, there's a chance to go 6 points clear of Spurs there, or they pull it back to level points. And you think already, even this early on, that's one where you can put a bit of a marker down. You go to a rival and you beat them on their own patch. But you know, there's question marks about what he does. I think after that Leicester game, because he'll want that midfield 3 to perform a lot better than it did, certainly second half.
I mean, it's interesting. I'd like you to read a Unibet column, obviously, because, you know, I'd like people to click it and Unibet keep paying because skint to be on. But Andy Robbo, my argument was that Andy Robbo was the perfect example to Fabinho in what he needs to do, really, because if you think back to last year, it kind of feels like Andy Robbo's been here forever, but he hasn't. He's still only played 30 odd games for the club. But when he came here, obviously we sign him, we do the deal with Kev Stewart and everything else. He gets a game against Palace early on, third match of the season. He has to wait almost a month then until he gets a game at Burnley. Plays the next game away to Leicester in the League Cup. And then he has a 13-game spell where he doesn't get a sniff. He's just completely bombed out. The next time he gets in again is December at Brighton. But in that period, you got the press speculation that he wasn't happy. You got talk of him making a January move away from Liverpool, and you even had this bizarre situation where that season, at that point, he played more games for Scotland than he played for Liverpool. But then he gets back in. Obviously, he impresses the manager. And after that game at Brighton, and I did my research here, lad, you know what I mean? Liverpool played 33 games post-Brighton. Robertson starts 26 of them, including both legs of the semi against Manchester City and the final in Kiev against Real Madrid. And now you've got like people regularly, like I've seen, I think it was Henry Winter, writing for the Times, describing him as one of, if not the best left back in the league. And so Andy Roberts has led the way. Chamberlain as well. You know, he had to wait till November for his Premier League debut. They've shown the way about how it will work or how it can work for Fabinho. So we don't need to sort of lose our shit.
No, and there's a case study there now, isn't it, for the manager to be able to say to Fabinho, this is what it did with these two players, and now look, I mean, obviously, Chamberlain's struck down by the injury, but there's no doubt in my mind he probably would be starting football matches for Liverpool if he was fit. And Andy Roberts, as you rightly said, was probably the best left back of the country last year. I think if you look at it now, there's an argument to say, well, Benjamin Mendy's come back in, and Mendy's an absolute, top draw full back. But Andy Roberts right up there, and the manager can point to that and literally say, this is what happens. Give me time on the training pitch with you. Because I think what the manager does do, or what the recruitment team have been really good at, is getting players in just as they're about to hit a certain trajectory. And he's done that really well. You've seen it certainly in the forward positions where lads have come in and suddenly gone on crazy goal scoring sprees that you weren't quite sure were in the locker, to be fair. No. So I think he'd be able to say to Fabinho, I've bought you because I liked what I saw, but actually this is my plan for you. I'm going to turn you into an even better footballer, an even better player. And he's done that with so many, because the lads you've brought in, or the lads he's brought in, the recruitment team have brought in, you look at all of them, and there's not many there that you can't say have progressed and improved as footballers and kicked on. And I think that's one of the things where, when you compare like Klopp to say Mourinho, he's always looking for the finished article, and Mourinho's always thinking about today. He's never thinking about tomorrow or what the future looks like. This manager's not like that. He is thinking about, well, what does it look like in 6 months? What does it look like in 12 months? What are they going to be like for Liverpool in 2 years' time? I think all that plays into his strategy and into his way of thinking. And I think, there's no doubt in my mind Fabinho's going to get plenty of minutes and plenty of game time this season. And as you said, after the international break, I mean, we're starved of football a little bit at the minute, but we're into it every 3 days, aren't we, basically? So
so there you go. So Fabinho, we expect to see post-international break. Before all that then, here's the plugs. You love this bit, don't you? We've been making loads of videos, so watch them please, but also click the subscribe button. Not enough of you doing that. We know that loads of you are watching, but not clicking subscribe. All it means is that we can see you like the channel. It's a bit of a marker of, the progress we're making with the videos, if you like. So we'd love it if you click that. Love to hit 30,000. I've heard if we hit 30,000, Ian Ryan might get the island. So, do it for that, if
That's
nothing.
Not true, by the way.
Do it for that, if nothing else. Also, as well, to be really clear, we do podcasts. That's what we're all about. That's what we built the Anfield app on. That's what we're good at. We've got a studio in Avenue HQ in Liverpool, where we are right now, and we're always in there. We're always recording podcasts. Be no different this week. It'll be no different through the international break. And if you subscribe to Tour Player, £5 a month, you will never be short of podcasts about Liverpool, about football, about fan culture to listen to. And this week is no different. And there's a good one out there right now, creating a little bit of fuss. I think one of the newspapers has actually picked it up and has used the quotes. So, even the mass media are getting onto the rap these days. Ian's been in the Express and all kinds. But this is an Anfield app special about Paris Saint-Germain's Adrien Rabiot. I hope I've said that right. I know I'm normally crap at that. He's the PSG midfielder who's out of contract at the end of the season. Big rumours that the Reds have been in contact, that he's going to come to Anfield. So Rob Gutman spoke to Julien Laurens to get the inside track on him, what he's about, what he's good at, how we would fit in at Liverpool potentially, and that podcast's been going down really well so far, getting some good feedback on that. So if you want to listen to that, go to theanfieldapp.com/subscribe, sign up, £5 a month. You can pay via WorldPay, you can pay via PayPal. If you think it's a load of shite, you can unsubscribe after a month, and all you've lost is a £5, which, let's be honest, you're lucky to get a bevy for that in some places these days. So give it a go, because we'd love it if you did, and click subscribe as well. Enjoy your weekends. Try and support a non-league team if you can. There's plenty of them about if you're on Merseyside, City of Liverpool, Marine, Prescott, Bearscough. I'm going to miss someone, AFC Liverpool. Help me out, Prescott Cables, did they say them I did. I'm going to miss someone out and I'm going to get shit. Southport, Chester, they all need your money. They're all grassroots. They could all do with you going through the turnstiles, buying a pint and a pie and watching a football. Look up a match by you, go to a match, support footy. Have a great weekend. Up to that.